This video is sponsored by iTone. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of their power supplies. I've never heard of this brand before. They reached out to me and I took a look at their store. They got a lot of cool stuff on Amazon, so check the links down there in the description. With the power supply that they provided, you get a bunch of these cables here to plug in all your pedals. You get a 9-volt power supply here to plug in and charge your unit, and then you obviously get the unit itself. This thing weighs a ton for the size. I mean, it probably weighs about 5 or 6 pounds, but that's a sign of quality. So it looks really classy with the black and yellow lettering and wording and all that kind of stuff here. You have a bunch of jacks to plug in all your pedals here. You have a USB port there. On the back, you have the on-off switch, some warning stuff, and then these bright blue lights, which are really cool to show you that it's on. You have a battery charging indicator up there at the top. Then you have this adapter here. Not quite sure what that's for, but hey, let's go ahead and take a look at the iTone power supply and talk about it some more. So once again, a big thank you to iTone, which is what I'm going to call them, but it's AITone. I'm going to call them iTone. But there are links down there in the description if you want to go check out this power supply or any of their other really nifty looking products down there on Amazon. They're really cool. So this is a very sturdily built unit. It's very heavy. It probably weighs like 5 or 6 pounds for what it looks like. I mean, it's heavy. And as you can see, obviously it's got those nice flashing blue lights on there, which I didn't mention this in the unboxing, but there's a little button here that you can turn them off if you don't like those. So the timing of this video could not have been more perfect. So they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to check out this power supply, and I said, absolutely. Here's why. So I have this small pedal board here. It's got one pedal and a ton of dog hair on it because I have a dog that sheds like crazy. And there's hair everywhere, but I digress. So this is just a plain, simple, metal, Velcro covered pedal board. And this used to be my main pedal board, but recently, or within the past few months, I got a powered pedal board. And it's bigger than this. It's probably like 2 or 3 of these combined, and it's got the power supply built in. That's all fine and dandy. But here's the thing. I use that big pedal board for my multi-effects unit. So I do have a couple of multi-effects units that go on there, and that leaves me very little room for my smaller pedals. And I have a very, very small pedal collection. So really, this pedal board right here does the job. But the thing is you have to have a daisy chain or something like that, which I'm currently using my daisy chain for the my setup over there to power the powered pedal board. Don't ask, it's just how I was able to make things work. But then came this, which is a perfect solution for this. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put some pedals on the small pedal board, hook them all up with the power supply from iTone, and we're just going to see if we can get all this back and running, and then I can have a backup pedal board or a pedal board to use if I want to actually use some physical pedals as opposed to a multi-effects unit. So let's go ahead and take a look at it and put the AITone or iTone. I'm just going to go back and forth, but you guys get it. Let's check out the power supply that company sent me, and let's see if we can put it through its paces and see if it really powers a pedal board as advertised. All right, so let's just say hypothetically this is my pedal board. Now, I'm aware that it's kind of messy, but this is just a hypothetical, okay? So we have the power supply here, okay? Again, it is wireless, so you do not need to have it plugged in to power it. Obviously, it's, you know, you just flip it on in the back when it's charged and it'll turn on and everything. So a couple of things going on here just to kind of give it an overview real quick. So you have a battery indicator up here, all of your markings to tell you what is what and where it goes and all that kind of stuff. You have a 9-volt in, so you can charge the unit if you plug it in there. You have a 5-volt 1-amp out here, which is USB-C, so that's kind of cool. You can charge your phone or something. I plugged my phone into it to test that, you know, beforehand and everything, and it charged it pretty well, so that's kind of cool. But it can power a small USB-C something or other. You have 3 500 milliamp ports here. You have 4 100 milliamp ports here, and then you have a switch here to switch between 9-volt, 12-volt, and 18-volt power, which is cool. And then over here you have a 100 milliamp out, which I believe you can change. That's what that switch is for this right here. So that's really, really neat to have. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, and then obviously on the back you have the on-off switch here. Now, you could obviously take this and mount it to your pedal board depending on how big your pedal board is, but just for demonstration's sake, I'm just going to use it here. So let me move this back, put the product that we're looking at in frame there. So we're going to use these cables that are provided with us. I got a bunch of the cables here. We're going to use these to plug them into the various amps, or the various pedals, excuse me. And then we'll plug it all into an amp and just, you know, play around with it just to see you know, how well it'll power everything and how it sounds powered this way. So I'm gonna just unravel these. Now, I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this because I really honestly don't know which one of these I should use for which pedal. I'm pretty sure the back of the pedal will tell you, and this could be ill advice. I'm just gonna plug it into whatever. I'm just literally gonna go up the chain here. Read your instruction manuals before you do any of this stuff. I'm doing this at my own risk, but don't take any advice from me on electronic stuff as far as milliamp outage and voltage and wattage or ohms or anything like that, whatever kind of term you want to use for electricity, because I am not an electrician and I'm not the biggest whatever of that. But, and again, this is not like official Pedalboard maintenance 101 here, because I am, again, just haphazardly plugging things in. So, you know, obviously it's going to be sloppy for now, and yada yada yada. We have one more cable to plug in here, and then we will turn it on, and hopefully we will not explode, because I'm an idiot. So there we go. We have everything hooked up. All 5 pedals that are in front of me are hooked up. The pedals, really quickly, just what I got: MXR Dynacomp, TC Electronic Honeypot Fuzz, a Boss SD1 Super Overdrive, and then I got 2 Donner pedals here. This is the Yellow Fall Delay and the Verb Square Reverb. So there's that. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if we turn this on and die. 3, 2, 1. No, we're alive. Cool. So you can see immediately that the Boss pedal came on. Maybe you can see that, I don't know. But the Boss pedal did come on. Let's see, the Dynacomp comes on. The TC Electronic comes on. Both Donners come on. So they both have the yellow lights on like that. So that's cool. That's a good sign. So I'm going to take this unit just as is, mess and all, and we're just going to plug in a guitar here and just run it through an amp. And again, this isn't like a tone test or anything, but it's just to see if we notice any kind of sound difference powering it with a power supply versus like plugging it into a wall or something. So let's go ahead and check that out and see what we can do with this. Okay, so this part's maybe a little unnecessary, maybe, I don't know. But I just want to plug in a guitar, play it while I'm using the power supply to power these pedals, and just see if I notice any like loss of tone, or like if it cuts out the top end or anything like that. I do have a camera here. You can see everything's plugged in. We're just gonna run through it real quick. Again, this isn't like this pedal sounds good, yada yada. I can do videos on the pedals themselves if that's really what you're interested in. Leave a comment below. But anyway, so right now, we have no sound going on. I'm going into my Blackstar HT5. You're just hearing camera audio because I figured that's easy. And we'll turn it on. Little squeak there as it kicks on and engages the, I guess, the chain or whatever, and the Super Overdrive always turns itself on for some reason. But I just disengaged the Super Overdrive. So that is just the amp by itself. So we're getting a signal. That's a good sign. Let's engage the fuzz just for some fun here. So far, sounds like the fuzz should, so that's a good sign. Let's kick on the Super Overdrive. Yeah, so I'm not noticing any, like I said, no loss of like top end or anything weird like that. The compressor, I mean, you can't really tell if the compressor's going or not, but it's doing its job. You can tell a little bit. Again, through the camera audio, I'm not entirely sure if you can or not, but I'm just reporting what I hear. So we are going to be running the delay and the reverb through the front end of the amp, which I don't generally recommend, but again, for this test, it just was simple. So let's start with the delay. Just the delay, by the way. I'm a little out of tune, but whatever, I guess. So other than being able to tell that that is a delay running into the front end of an amp, again, it sounds like a delay running into the front end of an amp, which is a good sign. That's good. And last but not least, just for some fun, the reverb. Ooh. I think my reverb settings got messed up a little bit. It sounds too short. I got it on a hall reverb, but it just sounds too short. But anyway, yeah, again, just sounds like a reverb pedal running to the front end of an amp. So just on this little sample here, I mean, it's fine, right? It's fine. That power supply is doing its job. I like it. And it was very easy to charge. I think the manual says it only takes like 2.5 hours to charge, which is really, really cool. So if you put it on before a gig or something to charge, it'll last you the whole gig, probably multiple gigs at a time. I don't know what it said, like how long it lasts, but as sturdy as it feels and as kind of big as it is, I mean, I feel like it should last you quite some time. Power a pretty big pedal board if you need to. On top of maybe charging your phone or tablet if you need to use that, or even maybe your computer. I don't know, I've not tried the computer. Maybe not, because it's only 5 volts, but and 1 amp. I mean, maybe, I don't know. That could be impressive. I don't know. But I did plug my phone into it just to see if it would charge it, and it did charge it pretty well, so that was cool. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, you always have the option of that 100 milliamp out right there, where you can change it between 9, 12, and 18 volts, which is cool. So you have options. Is it a power supply? I'd say it's like a power supply / power bank, which is really cool. For $55, I know I've said it's really cool a lot, but it is. I mean, it's neat. For $55, I believe is what they go for. Links down there in the description. I mean, it's cool. I like it. I think it's great for any guitarist to have, especially if you have like a smaller pedal board that doesn't have a power supply built into it, or you just need something to throw in your bag to power things. I like it. Highly recommend it. Check the links down there in the description if you'd like. Thank you again, aitone or iTone. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but thank you very much either way for sponsoring this video, providing the power supply for this video. I was happy to check it out for you guys. Maybe we'll see some more aitone or iTone stuff on the channel if we can learn how to pronounce their name correctly. I'm sure they'll tell me. But either way, thank you very much again for checking out this video. Links down in the description if you want to check one of these out. Highly recommend having one of these kicking around, and I will see you guys in the next video.